Harry Woods, 12.5. Evaluate 3 strategies or initiatives which relate to sports participation. Strategy 1. Girls First. Girls First is based in Wales, and they offer funding to schools for 11 to 16-year-old girls. This means that girls can try out lots of different sports that they wouldn't normally do. So these sports are free for them to do, so all they have to do is turn up in the appropriate clothing, so whether that's sports trainers, and they will regularly compete at some competitive levels. The initiative is aimed at girls in secondary schools. They aim it at 11 to 16-year-old girls in schools so that they're not at home or doing antisocial behaviour, just so that it gives them something to do. It's free, they can get involved, they can either go for the social, mental or physical benefit. Most of them will probably go for the social, but as they get older they might want to go for the physical benefit that it brings by doing sport. And yeah, they will find this good. Not only do Girls First also provide of school clubs, they also provide lessons, educational lessons to make sure that the girls are aware about their surroundings and the country they live in, so they could be doing extra curriculum lessons such as like geography or something, or they could learn about alcohol, so they do a lesson on alcohol awareness, which is quite a big thing for young people. And they'll also learn about drugs, which is another big thing for young people. So it'll teach them it'll teach them the right things. This. The Welsh Government fund this initiative, and they can give £1,000 or more to any secondary school that need the funding and they think it will benefit them. I think this is a really good initiative because a lot of girls these days don't really do sport, especially as they get older. They see it as uncool, but if they see girls' sport being broadcasted on TV or in their local area or their local teams doing well, they're going to want to get involved. It's going to have a domino effect, which is why this funding scheme is definitely a good thing. If the school is getting more females and girls into sport in general, then they're going to get more funding in return. So it's really good for both parties, because the girls, they're going to learn some great skills, they're going to have a great time, they're either going to get the social, mental or physical benefit out of doing sport, and then the school are going to get in return more funding to provide more classes, more lessons and pay the teachers that are going to do it, and it's going to have that domino effect and it'll just keep going. Schools may not know about this initiative, so therefore they can't even get the funding, they won't be able to put the classes on, all the lessons for the children to learn. So the key thing is they need to know about the initiative. Strategy 2, TASS. TASS is another great initiative. So for all those talented athletes out there that are going to probably be elite athletes when they're older or show really good promise from a young age, they will go through TASS because they will be able to balance their working life, so their college or their school life, with their training, because their training can be very, very, very important and very busy. And they can also provide funding and education. TASS recruit people who are competing at a very high level in sport, so that could be regional level, national level, county level, and they will recruit them because they can put them through their system, which is balancing their training life with their working life, school life and their college life, cross-cutting agendas. For example, they have courses, educational courses and extra qualifications that athletes can take to enhance their career. So say if their sporting career as an athlete doesn't work out, they can always drop back into coaching and teaching, and this will set them up for the future. It's funded by the government, and the government will put money into TASS because there are some great benefits and rewards from putting the money in. For example, if they put a lot of money into a certain athlete or a certain sport, and then they go on 5 years later to become gold medalists at the Olympic Games, then the athlete in endorsement fees and just sponsorship in general, then they're just going to make the money back, and then that's how TASS can keep refunding and just keep regenerating that money and keep it going through the athletes and keep turning them out. So yeah, the government will fund it, in hope that we're producing future stars at the Olympic Games. TAS is having a positive effect because after the Olympics in 2012, TAS athletes that have been through TAS and the initiative, 44 medals were won. And that says quite a lot about TAS because their success rate is very, very good. The funding helps, the educational route, they really do help the athlete out by balancing their working and college lifestyle with their very demanding training regimes that they have to stick to become Olympic medalists. Explain some of the limitations. Well, TAS, they may not pick up every athlete, so some may fall through. That's just due to some poor scouting, really. At the end of the day, not everyone will get picked up, but that's not to say they won't continue doing sport. Of course, they'll continue doing sport if they're a very good athlete. But that's not to say that TAS might not pick them up the following year or the next year after. It's just all about scouting and making sure they can get the best coaches in to provide the athletes with top coaching. Coaching Task Force 2002. The Coaching Task Force is a great initiative because it will improve the amount of coaches we have each year. So by improving the amount of coaches, that means that we can double the sports clubs, we can get more people involved in sport, more athletes turning out for Great Britain, England, Ireland, Wales, etc. It's a great initiative, and it's to improve the coaches that we currently have in the country and to get more coaches. We'll work with and target people who have been working for governing bodies, and that's at national level, and they will also target people who want to become coaches. So coaches coming through want to do like local sports teams, they can go through the Coaching Task Force, but then at the other end of the scale you've got the national governing bodies who the coaches will then go through the Coaching Task Force. Cross-cutting agendas are that a player, an athlete who's playing football, for example, his career might not go the way he wants and then he might drop out of playing, but on the other hand he could just then go through the Coaching Task Force and get his coaching qualifications because he's got all the experience from playing football at a very high level, or even a sort of like regional level is still quite high, and then he just goes through the Coaching Task Force and he can become a coach that way. So that is a cross-cutting this initiative, and they put in £28 million into regenerating the sport and getting more coaches through as a result of this money. Having a very positive effect on grassroots football, because coaches like myself, we're coming through and coaching the lower levels of where we want to be. Having a very positive effect because on grassroots football, if the country and the government are producing good coaches at a lower level, then our top coaches in the country are going to be really good, because we're going to have really good qualifications in place. We've got a good initiative in Coaching Task Force, and yeah, we're going to bring good coaches through with this initiative, and it's having a very positive effect on many sports. Explain the limitations. Some of the limitations are, for example, coaching badges. So in many sports, you have to pay to get your qualifications, and they can be very expensive, especially the higher you get. So this could be a limitation because some people may not be able to afford it.